What's going on, everybody? I'm Brandon from Walker's Woodworks. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be addressing this disaster situation. I got stuff in bins and boxes all over the shop since moving out to the new shop, and I want to get it organized because it drives me nuts. Like this just doesn't work. So we're going to be making a cabinet that's going to slide underneath the wing of my table saw and be storage for miter gauges and feather boards and blades, hopefully. So let's see what I can come up with. I'm breaking down full sheets of plywood instead of running them through the table saw. I like to use my track saw and this on the back side. That way I don't cut into my table. These never really get any lighter. It's weird. All right, this is all the stuff we're gonna need for the cabinet. Mine's gonna be 31 inches tall, 24 inches deep, 16 inches wide. At least I think that's what it was. And I just got a full sheet of sanded pine plywood from Home Depot. It's like 54 bucks a sheet. It's ridiculous. Bring the price down, it's time. But it's better than 100 or whatever it was. And then I got a 2x4 sheet of 1/4 inch, doesn't tell me what it is, wood, plywood. And then some hinges for the door, some sheet drawer slides. We don't need to get fancy, it's just shop furniture. And then a 1/2 inch dowel to hang the blades on the door with. So let's get going, wasting time. So I don't know about you guys, but I like to plan ahead and kind of design stuff before I get in the shop. A lot of people build on the fly, and I used to try to do that, but it seemed like I always messed it up. I guess I'm just not that talented. So what I do is go into SketchUp, and I'll show that right here so you guys can get an idea of what we're going to be building. I also have it written down in this book right here in front of me. So basically I designed it to where I can get everything out of one sheet of plywood, the sides, the top, the bottom, all the pull-outs, whatever you want to call them, and then the door, and all the little stand-up pieces to keep stuff from falling off of the pullouts. So I have all those written down here in the book. I'm gonna get the track saw out and get to cutting this piece up. So the two pieces I'll cut out of this will be for the sides, and they're gonna be 31 by 24. So I cut this way 31, and this is a 4-foot wide piece, so I was gonna do 24. And I was like, if it's just a little bit bigger, I'll just split the difference. But actually, most plywood is a little bit bigger than 4 feet, so this piece is 48 1/8 inches. So the blade on that saw is a little thinner than 1/8. So what I'm gonna do is measure 24 from here, cut, and then I'll start measure 24 from there and cut, and I'll have exactly what I need. Anytime I'm doing cabinets or anything like that, I always like to tape and label the pieces because I can't remember nothing. Side, side. Moving on. Now that I got the side set aside, I can cut up the pull-outs out of this piece right here. They're 13.5, so I'm just gonna go over 13.5, cut the full strip, and then I can cut them up into 21-inch sections. Yep, that's what's gonna happen right now. Also, if you're not used to using the track saw, the track always goes on the side that you're keeping because this strip here is a 0 clearance. So you'll cut right on the line that you wanna keep, if that makes any sense. Next thing we're gonna cut is the top and bottom, which will be here and here, 24 inch by, what is it, 14.5. How did a mosquito get in here? I think I'm gonna cut the rest out on the table saw because it's small enough to manage. I just need to do the door, which is 31 by 16, and then one more pull out, and then the strips to put on the ends of the pull out. So that'll be a lot easier to do on the table saw where I can make repeated cuts. So let's go over there. This is the last pullout. Now all I gotta do is cut up the strips to add to the ends of the pullouts, and then we can get to assembling. I got carried away. We only need 4. Oh wait, no, just kidding. We need 8. I can't count, okay? Sorry. Did not make it. Now that all the pieces are cut, I can get to assembling. Got the side, no. It says bottom. Top and bottom. These are the sides. See, it's why I label them, because I forget. Anyway, got all the pieces for the case. I will get that put together. Now, if I was doing like actual cabinets for a kitchen, I'd do dados and just a lot better joinery. But for shop stuff, I just use pocket holes. Haven't had anything fall apart yet. So I'm gonna grab my pocket hole jig. I got a new one I wanna show you guys, and we'll get this thing put together. This is the Armor Tool Auto Jig. What's cool about this one is it's fairly auto. If I can remember, there's an Allen, there it is. See, there's an Allen wrench in there somewhere. Loosen this, right? Are you following? Look, pay attention. So this gets loosened. The bit stays in there. So how it works is this back here actually moves everything, as you can see. So what you do, leave that collar loose, make sure that's in the right spot, put your material you're gonna use in, pull it up like that. You can clamp it down, that way it stays. And then you tighten the collar right here so it's adjusted properly for the thickness material you're using. Put that back. Stay. Now, what that does also when you clamp this down is adjust this for the material you're using. Get this thing clamped down. These are also Armor Tool clamps, and they're auto adjust, so you don't have to like mess with them. Just put them on any size and it auto adjusts. Now, what we don't want to do is drill the holes in the wrong board. Not that I've done that. So we're gonna get the top and the bottom, drill holes in those. And I don't mark them. It's just, whatever. Put it in, pull this back, clamp it down. Also, this thing has a really good dust collection. It's kind of a weird size, but I have to use this adapter, but works really good. So these are the boards we did for the pullouts. I'm gonna drill holes in the ends to hold on the pieces that are cut to the wrong size, basically. I forgot I need to cut these down to fit on here, so I'm gonna do that real quick. I'll be back. As I was saying, I'm gonna drill holes in these pullouts to attach these end pieces, which are now the right size. So move these over here where I'll forget them, and then I'll get all these holes drilled. Now that I got all the holes drilled, I can start assembling. This one's uglier, put that on the inside. Always use some sort of clamps when you're doing this, because if you put it on there and just try to hold it and screw it in, every time it will pull in or forward or that way, and it won't be lined up. Trust me, it won't. Don't even try. Again, if I was doing custom cabinets or fancy ones, I would be using glue, but we're not, so I'm not. Pocket hole screws will hold it just fine. Hope you guys appreciate these awkward angles I'm working in to try to get it on film. Hey, back here, just go in your home. So awkward. Oh, flip it. There you go. Figure it out on the last one every time. There you go. Box is done. I want to make sure when you're clamping them up that the holes are on the bottom side of the drawer so you don't see them. It's not a huge deal if you do see them, but try to avoid it as much as possible. There's one done. I'll move on to do the other 3 off camera, and then we'll get to mounting them in the case. So be sure to follow the directions you get on your drawer slides, but these particular ones are actually the ones I used. Can't see it. I use them on my assembly table. And they're cheap, they're like $8 a piece compared to $25 a piece or whatever the other ones are that I use on actual cabinets. So with most drawer slides, like I said, check your instructions, but most of them, the length that they show on the package is the length that your drawer is. So they're not actually what they say. So these are 22-inch. These are 22-inch drawers, but as you can see, they don't come all the way out. That way you can put a face on it. So anyway, I'm gonna line these up at the back, get them screwed in, and then we'll get them put in the case. Also, when putting these on, I usually use a screwdriver instead of a drill. That way I know I'm not gonna strip it out. I'm also gonna try to put plans up for this eventually. If they're not up right when the video comes out, I will have them up eventually on my website as well as a blog post, so be sure to go check that out. Now we can get the other side of the rail installed. I got some spacers in there, just stacked up 1/4-inch ply, which it's not exactly 1/2 inch, but it's close enough. I just wanna make sure that I get it all the way, or fairly close to the back, and also that the spacers are on the bottom of the parts that stick down further than the center, because these are self-closing, not soft close, but when they get towards the back, they have a dip that rolls down, and that's what you need to measure off of for the clearance. So that's there. I can go ahead and get them screwed in. I was wrong. What you are supposed to do is use a level, make it level, which if you put it flush against here, it's not. It's close, but it's a little off. Don't do that. Use a level. Ah, come on. Just go in your home. Luckily, on the other side, I put it in those slotted holes, so that way I can go back and adjust it to be level. You could pre-drill your holes, but I'm lazy, so I'm not doing that. Just struggle with it along the way instead. Seems like the smart thing to do. There we go. Okay, moment of truth. Look at that. It actually worked. Not sticking out past the end, so the back will go on. Nice. Moving on. So if I was using side mount drawer slides, they're different than these. They don't have this little bump down, which is what you're actually supposed to measure to. They're the same all the way across, so I usually use spacers in here to divide. But what I'm gonna do instead is just make sure this is all the way back to where it needs to be, and then just measure up to this line, make a mark, and or I could put a screw in and then use a level to make sure it's level and put the other screw in and then just continue around, and you get the idea. I do not like putting in drawers. I usually avoid it at all costs, actually. But I figured with this project, drawers were the best option. So that's why we're doing them. But I am not a drawer professional by any means. All right, I'm gonna get the rest of these put in, then we can move on to doing the door, or maybe the back. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see how it goes. Now that these are all installed and they work, that's a plus. I'll remove them all now and then get the back put on. Cool thing about this is you can kind of put them wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. They don't have to be like specific to the spot that you originally put them in. So that's good. Front. Keep that in mind. Now for the back, I got this 2x4 sheet like I showed you, 1/4 inch. I'm just gonna lay it on here and get two sides lined up. As long as it's pretty square, it should be fairly close. And then I'm going to get a pencil and just trace where I need to cut it. Fits pretty good. So now I'm just gonna use some trim glue and some 18 gauge brad nails to get it put on there. You guys are looking for a good brad nailer. I wanted this one for a long time and I finally got it. Home Depot sent it over to me. If you didn't see it in the a couple videos ago. I used it quite a bit in that, and I've been using it ever since, and I like it. I'll link it below, as well as everything else I use in this video for you guys to check out. Got it flipped over here. This is our door. Lines up pretty good. So I got some hinges that are detachable, so you can clip the door on and off as needed, and I want it to open this way. So if I'm standing at the saw, I can reach down, open it away from me, and the blades will be right there. So the bottom is here, so my hinges need to go on this side. So I have a little jig I'll show you guys too that you can pick up to do these hinges super easy. All right, so these are full overlay hinges, 110-degree open, swing open, whatever you want to call it. They all come with these templates, so you could use that, shows edge of cabinet, edge of door, and so you can put this on here and just mark the holes and drill them out that way if you want. But if you're going to be doing a lot of these, or even a few, I would suggest grabbing one of these deals. You just set it up. There's instructions on which setting to put it on, but what I usually do is just take the template, put it on the line, fold it over, and then set these settings to whatever lines up with the template, which is standard 6mm, I guess, 5 to 6. And then I can just put this wherever I want my hinges and drill the hole. It even has the 2 small holes for the screws to screw these in. And then I can get those set on, and then I can just line my door up, mark the holes for the inside of the cabinet hinge, and just drill those, get them put on, and then I'm done super fast. So I'll show you guys how it works real quick. So it doesn't really matter where you put the hinges as far as I'm concerned, but I don't want them to interfere with these drawer slides, so I'm just going to mark somewhere in this area here. Yeah, that seems good. And then somewhere in that area. Make sure these are lined up. Flip the door around, and there's little lines, so you can actually line that up with your line you made. Lock that back on. Actually, you probably want to put it on the drill first. That would make more sense. And then lock it on. Calm down. Yep, pretty good. Get this other one done and then flip around and get it attached. Flip these down, and it's going to raise the door up a little bit. Make sure it's still lined up, and then you can put your screws in. These are adjustable to an extent. And then you take the door off. There's 2 little buttons on the back. It just slides off like that. So how many of you were yelling at your screen that this isn't going to work? You could have told me. Hits the door. So that won't be very effective. And then thinking back, I've never actually made a cabinet like this with a door and drawers inside. I'm just used to making cabinets with drawers. So yeah, messed up for sure. But what I can do is put some 1/4-inch spacers in there. I think that'll give it enough room to let it come out. The only downside is I'm gonna have to take all the pull-outs and run them through the table saw and cut off that 1/4-inch. So I'm gonna do that and see if it fixes it. So what I'm gonna attempt to do is just use these 1/4-inch strips. I cut them to the same length as the drawer slides. I'm gonna use some glue and brad nails that are real short and put them on and see if that gives me enough clearance. I could probably check that. It should. We're just gonna try it. That's why I left the back off the first time, so you get in from the back side, but now we can't get to it, so I have to go tunneling in. Just stay. Will you just stay? Thanks. I feel like there's probably an easier way to do this. This is difficult. Oh my God. Okay, since I can't really get in there because the back's on now, I'm just gonna bark it where it's level and then lay it down. That way it'd be a lot easier to get to. You can take this off too. We didn't need that. Actually, we do. Level. Marked. Someday I'm gonna finish this cabinet eventually. I feel like I'm tunneling into a mine. It's better work. Okay, moment of truth again. Well, that works. Maybe. Look at that. Well, they say the thing that makes a good woodworker is your ability to hide mistakes and or fix the ones you made. So we've done that. Just don't do that to begin with on yours if you make this. Just glad it works. So I'm gonna get all these installed, get all the other pulls cut down, and get back to where we were, and I'll catch up with you guys then. I'm back. I got them all fixed, I think. I hope. Well, just go on like you're supposed to. Everybody's watching. You're supposed to just clip right in like that. Clip right in. There we go. Now, they all clear the door. So that's good. The other thing is, you can't see it. Hold please. This. Can't just set this on the ground, otherwise the door will rub. And most likely, I got the camera way too low. Most likely your floor is not level, so we're gonna put some leveling feet on it. And I'm gonna adjust the camera so I can stand up. So I just picked up a whole bag of these. There was like 20 in there, something like that, off Amazon. Cheap enough. They're actually pretty nice for the price. Can't remember how much they were, but I'll link them below so you guys can check them out. See if I can figure out what size drill bit this is. Didn't say it on the bag. No instructions. It's 3/8 if you were curious. So I was looking for my doweling jig because that would help me keep it straight, but I can't find it. So we're just gonna wing it. Dog is angry, something. Just try to keep it as straight as possible. What I can do is flag this bit so I know how deep to drill, or just go until that fits. Good, next. Could also measure, but be fine. Sure, that looks good. Again, if this was a nice cabinet, I would be doing a lot more than this, but you know, shop furniture, it's a great way to learn too. If you guys are just getting into woodworking, shop furniture, great idea. Learn from your mistakes or mine, you know, whatever. I still make them all the time, unfortunately. Okay, a vacuum goes out to get sawdust out. Hear that? Vacuum's angry. And then what you want to do is just lightly tap them in. Lightly. Keep in mind when you're making your own to allow for this space. Don't just make your cabinet as tall as it could possibly be underneath the table saw, because it might not fit. What is happening? Oh, I hit a brad nail coming in from the back. Didn't think about that. Because this one's gonna move up to about there. It'll be fine. Shh. It's a weird noise. You guys won't tell anybody about this, will you? Didn't think so. Now, the door can close, which is nice. Last thing I want to do is put some dowels on the door so I can hang blades there, which will be nice. And then maybe We'll just see what I have left for room up here. Maybe my wrench up here. I don't know. Let's just take the door off and get this going. Video is long enough. Jeez, hurry up. So if you're using a table saw correctly, you should have several blades, at least two. You should have a ripping blade and a fine finish blade. But I also like to keep a 50 tooth, which is like a combination rip and cross cut, just cause. So what I'm gonna do is lay these out on here, get a tape measure. So I'll probably just go 1 inch to be safe. And then I also just want to center it in the door, so just eyeball the 8 inch for now. Just mark that hole. Oh, maybe. This is a poor execution. Mark this one out. That one went much smoother. And then my thought is I can take this dowel rod and drill a hole at an angle, right? Makes sense. So when the blades go on, they just slide down and they won't fall off when you open the door. Should probably start with a smaller bit and go up, but I don't have time for that. Make sure the right angle-ish. Hey, stay in there. Careful. That'll be fine. There's probably a better way to do this. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. I thought about just putting screws in there and hanging the blades, but I thought maybe try to be a little bit more creative. It's not really working out that well. Sure, we'll just say that long. 1 3/4 exactly. We'll cut these. Okay, now I'm just gonna glue them in. We'll be good to go. Let's see what else we're gonna fit up here. So I got the wrenches from my saw. They can go right here, I think. I'll probably use another dowel. And then this is the tool to set the cartridge on the saw stop. I think I'll put that over here. This one's a little bit messed up, but it'll be fine. There's that. That'll do. Last thing is to make a handle for it, and everything else on my bench has got these walnut handles, so I'm just gonna cut one out of this, and then we can get it put on and maybe get this thing actually installed, which would be nice. Making your own drawer or door handles is pretty easy. The ones I make are, at least. I just do a small chunk of wood. It's like a 3/4 of an inch by 1.5, something like that, and I just put a 45-degree cut on there to get your fingers around the backside so you can open it. So I'm gonna cut this down to 3/4 of an inch, then I'll put it at 45, cut that, and we will have a handle. Just use a speed square or whatever. Usually put them about 1 inch down, somewhere in that area. So I've realized after opening and shutting this door a couple times, I should have definitely angled that one. I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. So I got some rasps. What I'm gonna do is just make a notch for them to sit in. There. Now they'll stay. That's good. So for shop furniture, I usually just use the spray lacquer in a can, just like 2-3 coats, whatever. Brings out the color a little bit and gives it a little bit of protection from the elements. So I'll get this sprayed on, then we'll get it put under the saw and get it loaded up. Probably could have took the drawers and door off. That would have been easier. But not as fun. Look at you, fitting and whatnot. There it is installed. I may scoot it back, I'm not sure. I'm gonna use my table saw for a while and see, but as you can see, we got the blades and stuff on the door. I'll probably move all this stuff around, but I got the featherboard, router lift stuff in there, push sticks there. My good miter gauge fits in there, luckily. And then down here's all the stuff for dados, saw stop, cartridge and dado insert. So, a lot more organized. Do you guys like these kind of projects? Let me know in the comments down below. I really like shop projects. As a matter of fact, I have a video queued up for you right here on another shop project that I did. Go check that out. Appreciate your guys' support. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.